in a crazy turn of events of the NFL playoffs 2022 season, we winded up with the LA Rams going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Crazy matchup. Did not see that coming. I had Chiefs Bucks. I had Chiefs Cowboys. I had Chiefs. I was hoping Chiefs Niners or Chiefs Rams. I was hoping Chiefs Rams. I didn't want to see a rematch, but now we're with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow in his second season, making it to the Super Bowl, and LA Rams going all in on Matt Stafford, and that's paying off for them being in this Super Bowl 2 years in a row of a team hosting the Super Bowl, and that team making the Super Bowl as well. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your Super Bowl 56 matchup we got going on between the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. Stafford versus Burrow, 9 versus 9. LA, the 213 versus, I don't even know the area code for Cincinnati. That's crazy. But this is going to be a very exciting match. We have that trio of wide receivers going up that against that stout defense and high octane offense. Which one will reign supreme? So I'm here to give you my top plays at captain and flex. Before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD. And also, if you are a viewer and not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And once we get there, that 1,000 subscriber will be receiving money. Okay? Now, let's get into the matchup of the year. Starting off with the captain position, we can go a myriad of ways, but let's be obvious for this, and then we can dabble in some of the possible flexes that could be captain spots, because these are some high price guys we got up top. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 guys that are well, not well above, but above $10,000 salary where you're going to have to maneuver around. Let's start off with Cooper Kupp, who has been the number one option for Matt Stafford all year long, and it continued against San Francisco. So Tampa Bay, he took it at a very high level at 35 fantasy points, and then against San Francisco, getting over the hump, finally beating this team, 40 fantasy points, 11, 14, 142, and 2 TDs. This man continues to find ways to get open. He had a couple drops, but still has been very consistent all year long. 20 touchdowns. That is absolutely insane. 2,333 yards receiving, 170 receptions. Cooper Kupp is having an all-time year. All-time year is going down in the history books. Love Cooper Kupp as a captain spot. All right. We're going to stick with the receivers right now, and then we're going to move into the quarterbacks. The next guy, obviously, will be Jamar Chase. They tried to focus in on him a little bit more. Casey did, but he was still able to be himself. 6 of 9 of 54. That key area in the red zone, he stepped up, had a nice fade pattern, came down with the catch. And Jamar Chase is pretty much unguardable. I understand that he's going to have to be dealing with Jalen Ramsey. We'll see if they're going to 100% lock in on him, but this is a different animal. I think they're better off keeping him on one side with Jalen Ramsey because they have more than one option with the Cincinnati Bengals. There's Jamar Chase. There's still T. Higgins. There's still Tyler Boyd. We're waiting on news about Uzuma, but if not, Drew Sample can come in, step in. They still have Samaje Perine who came in with a couple catches, even got a touchdown last week. That was huge. They still got guys off the bench. Auden Tate, who still hasn't even touched the field. The Bengals are loaded with the receivers, man. Very loaded. So, I mean, that's up to them if they want to. We'll see what the game plan is going to be, trying to contain Jamar Chase. But he's still out here putting up solid numbers, all right? I mean, the Chiefs, did better than what they did before, but he still had a nice game, Jamar Chase. So he's going to be one of our top tier options. They'll move him around. They'll find other ways to get him the ball. They use end arounds with him. He finds ways of running the ball, and even in some screen areas as well, that they get the ball to Jamar Chase. Next, who we're going to look at will be Odell Beckham. All right, Odell Beckham, roller coaster of a career, up with the Giants, down with the Browns, now back up, leaving Cleveland, getting relieved and going to the Los Angeles Rams has paid dividends. And now he's just happy, man. I'm really happy for Odell Beckham coming back to his like old form. And he came through against the San Francisco 49ers, 9 for 11 for 113. He's feeling really comfortable as the number 2 wide receiver currently for the Los Angeles Rams, stepping in place of Robert Woods. Van Jefferson is in the back. He's more of the deep guy, like I said before in previous videos, but Odell Beckham has an opportunity to take full advantage on the biggest stage in the Super Bowl. So he can be a really big X factor here. You know how talented he is. So I think Odell Beckham is going to show out for the Super Bowl. I love him at his current price. Definitely one of the sneakier options at the captain position. Next, who we're going to look at is going to be T. Higgins. If they want to key in the defense on Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is a very, very good number 2. Very, very good number 2 from Clemson. Another Tiger that they got going over in this game. You saw his game against Tennessee, 7 from 9 for 96. Then came with another nice performance. Didn't get an end zone. Maybe you'll get an end zone for the Super Bowl, but came through with 6, 10, and 103. I love T. Higgins at this price. So I really want to key in on the cheaper wide receivers in all my lineups. T. Higgins, Odell Beckham. I think those are solidified, solid guys that you can go if you want to stay away from one of the higher price dudes. But T. Higgins, love him at 7,600. So we'll throw him in there. I think this is the area where we could go with the quarterbacks, but I do want to mention at least one of the running backs, and that will be Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is not like wowing you with anything. He's been solid each and every week, just giving you enough, all right? Being an X factor in the offense. They needed him to ice the game. Joe Mixon came through. In other games, they needed Joe Mixon to catch balls. He came through. So Joe Mixon right here at 9,600. I think he's a very good, solid flex play. I need him to get in the end zone if he's going to be a very good captain play. Obviously, this is a stout run defense, but they have been giving up some good games. Eli Mitchell had a great game in the receiving department, well over 50 yards receiving. So Joe Mixon can do something similar to that. Obviously, help out Joe Burrow, be a little bit, not be, stagnant with the offense, be a little more creative, get Joe Mixon the ball. Up tempo would help this offense as well. I think Joe Mixon is another great option as a captain in your lineup builds. All right. Now we're gonna go over to the quarterbacks. We have Matt Stafford. We have Joe Burrow. Let's talk about them. All right. The Bengals defense has been up and down. They've been getting bailed out, not bailed out, but the quarterbacks have been turning the ball against them, and they've been taking full advantage of it. Stafford has looked very sharp in the playoffs against Arizona, against Tampa Bay, and San Francisco. Only one interception so far in the playoffs. So we'll see if that interception problem will rear its head in the Super Bowl. But he's been putting up solid numbers: 24 against San Francisco, 32 against Tampa Bay, and 24 against Arizona. I have no problem going with him as a captain spot. He would have to really torch it for him to be worthy of the captain spot. Now I have to say that because this is a specific type of game where yes, you have an elite offense, but you do not provide upside with the legs. But lately, you have been getting opportunities of goal to goal situation. They'll be on a one, and they'll do a QB sneak with Matt Stafford, as you see against Tampa Bay. He has a touchdown. As you see against Arizona, he has a touchdown. So the upside is there. Only in specific situations they have no problem because of his height and his build. They will QB sneak at the goal line. So I like Stafford and his upside with his arm, with his wide receivers, and the possibility of him running in a touchdown as well. So we could definitely go there. And then Joe Burrow, the man of the last past month. He has been an absolute star. So there's no reason for me to fade him. I think he is another great option at a captain position. Big games against Baltimore, so he was building up before even getting to the playoffs. 41 fantasy points against Baltimore, 37 against KC. He was getting through these games, but putting the team on his back with a nice completion percentage against the Raiders and Tennessee Titans. You don't really want 17 and 16 from your quarterback, but he had to do what he had to do in those games. Then we saw some rushing upside against KC. He took it to another level there. 21 fantasy points in that game. That's what I want to see from him. And obviously, I think he's going to break out all the stops. In big moments, Joe Burrow tends to show up. So I'm definitely going to have some lineups with him as a captain as well. All right. So those are going to be the captain options. Let's move over to the flex plays. And the first flex play we'll speak about will be Cam Akers. Now, the reason why I did not put him as a captain, we got a little more question marks. This is a bigger game. He does have a fumble problem. So Cam Akers, he could, just concede a little bit of his carries to Sony Michel, who's been in this situation before in a big game. Obviously played with Brady, and now they're in the Super Bowl, so they could lean on Sony Michel a little bit more. That's why I downgraded him just a little bit, but definitely do not forget about Cam Akers. So he's one of the flex plays. Next, we're going to continue down and we will speak about Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, if Uzuma is out, and obviously Drew Sample steps up, but I think if Uzuma is out, they'll lean more on Tyler Boyd. He hasn't really been popping up much in the playoffs, other than the first week of the playoffs against the Raiders. He had a solid performance with a touchdown. So maybe he comes back into the mix in this game, because before that he had a 4-game streak of a touchdown. So I expect him to pop up with this injury to Uzuma. Do not forget about Tyler Boyd at 5,400. He can be a steal as one of your mid-level flex plays to have in your lineup builds. So I like him there. Van Jefferson, I do have to speak about him just in case they throw a deep bomb to him. He has that upside, that speed, quality. The question is Stafford. Stafford, can he get the ball downfield? He had a questionable throw against San Francisco that should have been an interception. I don't know what's wrong with his arm, but that was a little bit questionable. Anything short and intermediate, he's looked fine, but a real deep pass is where the question marks come through, and it could have been another interception. It could have been the 49ers in the Super Bowl instead of the Rams if that was caught by Jaquiski Tart. So I like Van Jefferson at 5,200. I just spoke about Sony Michel. That one's a more of a flippable coin just because we're not 100% sure their total game plan. But you do have to be mindful. This is a bigger game. He has more experience, okay? Next will be the tight end, Tyler Higbee and Kendall Blanton. I'm pairing these two guys together because Higbee is currently questionable with an MCL sprain. We have to watch on injury news about him. If he's in, then definitely we'll go to him because the Cincinnati Bengals are last in the league against opposing tight ends. So if he's out, then we'll go to Kendall Blanton. All right. So Tyler Higbee's 4,800, and that's why they price both of these guys very close to each other. And then Kendall Blanton is 4,600. So if Higbee is out, Kendall Blanton came through against the San Francisco 49ers with 5 receptions, 5 targets, and 57 yards. Did not get an end zone, but was frequently used. A little bit more athletic than Tyler Higbee. That's what I like to see from him as well. So definitely do not forget about Higbee and or Blanton in your lineups. Okay. Next will be Uzuma and Drew Sample. If Uzuma is in, he has the same sort of situation where he left the game. He's currently questionable. We're not 100% sure about his knee as well. So if he's in, then we'll go to him at 4,400. He's been used frequently, as you can see, against Tennessee. The Raiders, KC, and Baltimore, 6 and above targets in each one of those games. Um, Once he's out, then they do have Drew Sample as a tight end, but they do not use him as frequent as they do CJ Uzama, okay? Next, we'll look at the kickers, all right? I'm not going defenses for this. If I had to choose one, obviously the Rams, because they have a very stout defense and more star power. They can get to the quarterback with the question marks with Joe Burrow's offensive line. But I think this is an affair where they're going to be up tempo, get the ball out of their hands quickly for Joe Burrow, get him very comfortable in this game. Um, and I see a high scoring affair. Both these teams can put up points. Obviously, you saw what the Bengals did against the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is not the same defense on the other side with the Rams going against the 49ers. Cincinnati has a solid defense, but I think the 49ers have a little bit next level defense, okay? Especially with Bosa on the other side. So we're going to go with the kickers, and one of the kickers we're going to focus on will be Evan McPherson. And almost each one of these games, he has put up double-digit fantasy points. Look at his streak. What is that? 5 weeks in a row? No, I want to say six, 7. 7 weeks in a row with double-digit fantasy points. He's been very clutch, not missing a kick. So we're going to go with Evan McPherson as one of our bottom-end flex plays. I feel very comfortable going with him. How the Bengals are able to move the ball down the field, and if they have no problem taking the points. Like Chiefs should have took the points at the end of that second quarter. Um, the Cincinnati Bengals have no problem taking points, and they got a very trustworthy kicker in Evan McPherson. On the other side, we have Matt Gay. Matt Gay has been putting up solid numbers as well. 9, 13, 11 in the last 3 games, so I have no problem going there as well. If we need just under $4,000 of salary, then we can lead on these two kickers here. Anyone under the kickers, we can think about Samaje P. Ryan. He had a touchdown. He came through with 3 receptions, 4 targets, 43 yards. Obviously, they were down big, so that allows Samaje P. Ryan to get some run. But he does have upside with his catching ability, so we can look at him at 2,400. Other than that, I don't think I want to go with Trent Taylor or Sir Swarnrick because he dropped the touchdown. That was horrible. I don't know what's wrong with his hands. But anyone else down below here, if I had to choose one, I would choose a backup tight end because they can always get in a touchdown somewhere. But other than that, I'm going to stay away from anyone below Samaje P. Ryan. All right. Now let's lock in our guaranteed guys for the Super Bowl that I want in each and every one of these lineups. We can go a myriad of ways, okay? We can go a crazy amount of ways. So we're going to keep it with plain and simple. We're going with Cooper Kupp. We're going with Jamar Chase in each and every one of our lineups. I think that is a good glue for the guys that are going to get the majority of the targets. We got Cooper Kupp getting 10 to 15 targets. We got Jamar Chase getting from 9 to 15 targets. I think that's a solid core right there. The next wave of guys that I want in each and every one of these lineups will be Odell Beckham and will be T. Higgins. Okay, you see I'm wide receiver heavy in this. I think the running games kind of cancel each other out, and I think the way these teams move the ball is through the air. They can try to stop Jamar Chase, but that's the problem. And if they do, then we're going to lean on T. Higgins. Odell Beckham has been waiting for this moment all his life. He's come through with big games in the postseason as well, double-digit fantasy points in each and every game. And then T. Higgins has been very solid, showing up against Tennessee and KC, being a nice Robin to Jamar Chase's Batman. So I think we'll focus in on those 4 guys in each and every one of our lineups, and you should be good. Okay, Tyler Boyd is a cheap option that we can look down below. And the tight ends, don't forget about the tight ends. Wait on the news on the tight ends. Hopefully, the starters start, and then we can put those guys in because those are another trustworthy type of option that we can have in our flex. Okay, let me know in that comment section down below if you have any question marks at Captain at Flex. If I didn't speak about a player that you might like, let me know down below, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Peace out, guys.